Welcome to the Coffee Club, broadcasting live from New York with your host, Felix, and co-host, Dr. Mark. So let's have a cup of coffee and enjoy the show.
There is no heaven. There is no hell. There is only this world and its dark reflection. And we do not know in which of the two worlds we are.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. The Rebellious Rev and the Doc.
That's me.
That's the Doc. I'm the Rev. We're also known as the Coffee Club when we don't do religion, so I guess we're doing with the Coffee Club. If Chad comes along and calls tonight, we're going to be the Religious Coffee Club.
Just like we have our music critic, we have our religious guru.
And he may be calling in tonight. We don't know. We are here day after Thanksgiving. I hope everybody had a good Thanksgiving. How about you? Did you have a good Thanksgiving, Mark?
Yes. Yes, it was. I must say. I'm a man of a few words tonight.
I see. We're going to be doing very well tonight, then.
Oh, certainly. No, it was very nice. It always is. Very nice.
Yeah. Did you have it with your family, or?
Yes. We went over to my son's in-laws, and they always make a very nice holiday spread. And it was a nice evening. Very nice evening.
Well, that's a good thing. You know, because of my situation, I couldn't really do much, but after everybody had dinner, some of our relatives came by and brought some food over and stayed a little while, spoke to us, said hello. And then this Sunday, my immediate family and my wife's immediate family are coming here, and we're going to celebrate Thanksgiving here a little bit. So we already have a phone call. The show just started. The show just started. Already a phone call.
Well, you damn right you got a phone call.
Well, it's about time. We thought for sure you were going to be on the phone like an hour after the polls closed.
No. We thought you took. I don't know if you heard that show. We had Trump Flight 1600, flying all the celebrities to Canada.
No.
How you doing, Nash? How was your Thanksgiving?
I was all right. Not too bad.
Well, good. Very good. And what do you have to add to the festivities tonight, to our discussion?
Well, since we haven't spoken to him since Trump won, I don't think.
Yeah, well,
I was. Yeah, I'll just say I was wrong about the election. I thought no way that guy would get in there.
And what did I tell you?
I was right about a lot of American sensibility. That part is kind of disappointing, but it is what it is.
You know, I was telling Felix before we got on the air. I heard on the news about some altercation at the airport. I forget where it was exactly, but some guy got up and started chanting Trump, Trump, Trump in USA, and people were looking at him like he was drunk, which he was. And he started haranguing the people on the plane, saying, "What's the matter with you people? You know, aren't there any Trump supporters here?" And they're looking at him like he's talking a foreign language. And I have the feeling that over the next 4 years we could expect a lot of that from his base, his support, But what's really scary, and I'm sure it scared you, was last Sunday at, of all places, the Reagan Building in Washington, when Richard Spencer and his white supremacists had a little, I don't know what you would call it. It wasn't a convention or anything, but they had a gathering and they were giving the Nazi salute. and they were hailing Trump like they were hailing Hitler, and the signs of white power and everything. And it's very scary, freaky stuff. Let me tell you.
Yeah, it's interesting that all that is coming out now, and the fact that those people feel empowered by Trump. The other side of that is they're going to be extremely disappointed because he's not going to govern in a way that they're going to like. Some of the campaign promises were just that, campaign promises, as every politician does. So, I mean, that's a part that they're going to have to deal with. But the fact that this stuff is on the rise and out in the open, I mean, hell, what do they always say? Never again. So, I mean, yeah, people should protect themselves. People should be aware. And people should be willing to not to back down. When you see fascism or Nazism, whatever you want to call it, you must confront it. There is no conversation about bringing them to the middle.
Well,
they are what they are, and they must be confronted.
I have to tell you.
Well, Trump did denounce it right away.
Well, so what? He said, "Stop it." He denounced it. Big
he didn't say stop it.
They're waiting for him to give a speech about it, and he keeps putting it off.
About what?
A strong speech denouncing this kind of rhetoric.
Well, just strongly denouncing them, which is what he's going to have to do eventually. That New York Times interview, he did say he doesn't agree with it and he thinks it's wrong. But no matter what, I mean, this is the bed you made. When you campaigned the way you did, you gave these people hope that this stuff would be on the rise and would be a new norm. So, I mean, he's got to eat that as well.
Well, these groups believe that the less that is said to chastise them and try to put them in their place, they look at that as approval. And that's exactly what's happening.
Well, first,
I have to tell you, Dan Rather, who's a news journalist that I greatly admire, wrote an article in the Daily Kos, one of those e-magazines. They have a show on the computer, on the internet. And he said he's seen all this before. He said, and it's not enough to just point the finger at it and say, this is wrong. He says, we all have to get involved. And I remember, two quotes, and I'm sure you're familiar with because I know you're well read. George Santayana said, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. And the philosopher Edmund Burke said, all that's necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing. And that's what these groups and the Trump base are counting on.
Well, first thing, don't call it the Trump base. That you're really being pretty hard on it. Trump base is middle class white workers mostly.
Hey, listen, Felix, I told you before. They started going after the press. They showed some guy on television pointing a finger at the national media and calling them Jew-USA. Trump himself called out CNN, he called out MSNBC, NBC, and he listed a whole list of reporters that he felt were not fair to him. And I haven't seen that since Nixon.
Well, do you think they were fair to him? In any way?
When you put yourself out there, you have to accept anything that comes at you, and you have to be able to explain it. But all he did was get very upset, very angry.
You have to be fair. You have to show both sides, and it wasn't being shown.
Well, come on, man. They show both sides. That dude got the amount of free press that he got. No one has ever gotten in any political arrangement we've ever seen.
Well,
yes, they did cover his bad side as well too. I mean, that's kind of the job. But when it got to the point of where 24/7 they were running some kind of Trump story because they knew it would get clicks and ratings, they're in it for the money. They're not in it to smear anybody. They care less.
Listen,
they were amazed at the amount of money that they made with him running.
That
was the game.
The national media took plenty of swipes at Hillary. All right? They didn't let anything float by as far as conflicts of interest between the Clinton Global Initiative and taking money. And why is it that every time she said that that's all the emails, WikiLeaks kept finding more? All right? So if that shows anything, it shows that she couldn't be trusted either. Okay? But she didn't lash out at the press vindictively the way he did.
Because they weren't reporting it.
What do you mean they weren't reporting it? Yes, they were.
Come on, Mark. Half the time I used to tell you what was on there, and you said, I don't know about that.
No, you told me what was on WikiLeaks. But eventually when it came out, they questioned her on it. They didn't let it slide.
Well, it was coming out for months. Nobody said anything about it. Come on.
But it came out.
Eventually, because I had no choice.
It came out. It wasn't hushed up.
How did it come up?
I don't see how you could watch that election cycle and say that they were soft on Hillary. They beat her up on the emails. They beat her up on WikiLeaks. They beat her up on the record. They beat her up on the Clinton Foundation. I mean, all of her holes were out there to be exposed, and they did that. And the fact that so many people now know about so much about Hillary Clinton right now, I mean, you got to give the press some of the credit for that. You can't act like,
Why is it the Democrats are looking for a leader to lead them into the future, and it's not Hillary?
Because she's too old, for number one.
It has nothing to do with that. She could lead them into the future in order to help find a standard bearer for 2020. Okay? But they're not looking to her. They're looking elsewhere. All right?
Well, I heard today that Hillary was thinking about running again. I don't know if it's true or not, but...
What, for dog catcher?
No, yeah.
I mean, I know there are a lot of loose dogs running around in Chappaqua, but let's face it.
No, the Clintons are done and the Bushes are done
as far as
upfront power. Now they have to work the background, be surrogates, and be kind of the establishment wing. But as far as them having direct power, it's over. The Bushes and the Clintons.
That's what it is.
And to be honest, this whole election cycle was a repudiation of establishment. And the Dems ran an establishment candidate, which was a huge mistake because they didn't do a rigorous primary process because they wanted to give Hillary a coronation, didn't really give Bernie or anybody else a real shot, and they ended up paying for it dearly. So, this is their incompetence.
If you remember the interview that Roger Mudd had with Teddy Kennedy, I don't know if it was 76 or 80. I think it was 76. Why do you want to be president? He couldn't come up with one good reason why, other than the fact that his name is Kennedy. Okay? If you think about Hillary, all right, stronger together. One of the things that the media said that you love so much, Felix, is that she never gave the people a reason to want to vote for her. She never said what her platform really was going to be, other than that we're stronger together, which we all know there's strength in numbers, okay? But why did she want to be president? I mean, Saturday Night Live said it best when she said, I've been wanting to be president since I was a little girl. Well, that's not reason enough for people to vote for her. And the bottom line, if you're not going to be truthful, and I always said, look, I was a Bernie supporter from way back. But I always said there's something about Hillary. I don't think she tells the truth. But as far as Trump or Hillary, she's the lesser of the evils, and I think she is better qualified to lead the country. Okay? And if you look at some of his appointments, I mean, Jefferson Beauregard Sessions. You ever hear of a more southern name than that? Jefferson Beauregard Sessions is going to be our new Attorney General, okay? Michael Flynn, NSA, a real neocon and a hawk, okay? Now, Michael Flynn did get good reviews from some of the other generals. They said, look, he's a tough cookie, but he knows his stuff. Okay, Nikki Haley